Welcome to Locker Talk, episode 18, the show everything WWE, past, present, and future. I am your host, Koltyn, and as always, by my side is my co-host, Matt. Like I said, this is our 18th episode of Locker Talk, and this week we will be talking to you all about our predictions for this Sunday's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And for once, we actually have a crap ton of questions. So Matt, why don't you kick us off? Let's get started here. This might be a long episode, so get your sweet tea and enjoy the ride. Let's go.
All right. First, we're going to go after the match card and kind of pick our stuff for Money in the Bank. I'm going to get this ball rolling with the first match is the pre-show match with R-Truth and King Barrett there. That's a singles match. No title is involved. So no, the $1 million title, nor the TV title, nor the European title will be on the line here, folks. I know we were all waiting for that. This match doesn't really have any bearings on anything. The only reason this match happens is because R-Truth came out on Monday night, and everyone lost their minds because it was the best thing ever. So, obviously, we have to see him. And King Barrett because he wasn't in the Money in the Bank match, which is a head-scratcher in and of itself. But, I guess I'll go with King Barrett because you gotta have him win one match, and why would you have R-Truth win that match? It doesn't make sense.
Just put them both in Money in the Bank. Like, come on, what's gonna hurt adding R-Truth and Barrett into the match? I agree with your thinking. However, coming to a different conclusion, I think R-Truth wins the match because it doesn't make sense, and because they just seem to refuse to give Barrett a win ever anymore. So, yeah, R-Truth wins. I don't know why we should care, but that's really all we're going to go into this one. Speaking of things we don't much care about, the Intercontinental title match between Ryback and Big Show. If you watched Raw on Monday, you've already seen the finish to this match. Ryback shell-shocked Big Show on Miz TV, which wasn't that bad for once. I was a little bit impressed from a normally terrible Miz TV. But yeah, Ryback is not going to lose this match. To me, it's kind of sad how far the Intercontinental title has fallen, going from a ladder match at WrestleMania to being in the Elimination Chamber, and now it's Big Show's in a match for the Intercontinental title for whatever reason. But yeah, Ryback will once again hit the shell shocked on Big Show, hit him 1, 2, 3, and hopefully move on to bigger and better things. I've been very impressed with Ryback lately. As some of you may or may not know, I'm not a big Ryback fan, but he's definitely been growing on me in the past few weeks. So Matt, what do you think about this one?
I think the big guy's going to take it home on this one. It's going to be short. It's not going to be enjoyable, so I'll make my explanation short and not enjoyable. Ryback will win. Big Show's not going to do much. He's always been big and flabby, but now he's old and flabby, so it's a difference. It's a difference in that old factor. So he's going to be slower. We're going to see some impressive feats of strength by Ryback, and that's going to be the only fun part. So, Ryback's going to win it. You're not going to see a heel Intercontinental champion for a while now. Which brings us to our next match, which is our scheduled bathroom break for the evening. Nikki Bella, the champion, versus Paige in a WWE Divas Championship match. There's not really much to say about it. The Divas haven't been stepping up. I feel like they're the only two that are in it right now. Naomi just kind of fell off the face of the planet. And whoever wins, whoever loses, even if Paige wins this title, they're still going to face each other at SummerSlam. So we're going to have the same match again in a little bit. As for right now, I think Nikki Bella will win. She's not going to lose it until SummerSlam, whoever she loses it to.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, the tag team title match of the New Day against the Primetime Players. Yeah, this should definitely be the best match on the card so far. The Primetime Players have been looking really good. I've been really impressed with Titus O'Neil lately. The guy's got a lot going on. He's a big guy. He's strong. He throws people around, which is fun. He has a lot of charisma. He can talk on the microphone really well. And so I think this is going to be a really good match. Did you bring it up for the class, Matt? Anyways, where was I? Yeah. So Xavier Woods and Big E will be in this match. It'll be a little different from a normal New Day match. I would say you won't have Xavier Woods yelling outside the ring. He'll be yelling on the apron and inside the ring, I assume. But this should be a good match. It is not time for the New Day to lose their titles. So the Primetime Players will have to wait for a New Day. But I feel like the Primetime Players are on their way to a potential tag title run. Just not quite yet. So Matt, what do you think about this match?
This match really personifies that awkward moment when Vince chose the Primetime Players over the Ascension for that next run, as in everyone's getting injured in the tag team division. Titus O'Neil's cool, but he doesn't have that one, like, it move, I feel, because he does throw people around, but that's, I don't know, I guess that's all he does.
He barks a lot.
He's like 6'8", 385, so he's like a big boy. He's good. Darren Young's decent, but they're both decent on their own. I don't think I would like to watch them singles. I like watching them together. They're just two guys that need to be together. They need each other for right now. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be short. I feel like the New Day is just gonna put them away. Big E's just gonna dominate. The New Day needs a tag move that's definitive for them. I hear, my sources are telling me, now I could be wrong, but I hear there's a move called the well, it doesn't really have a name, but they pick the guy up and they throw it down. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, they did it. I think that's the first time that move's ever been done.
It's called The Way is what they're calling this move.
Yeah.
The Way.
I don't know any other team that has ever done that before.
It's pretty innovative, but
they could, yeah, they could pick that one up on their own.
Yeah.
I think the New Day's gonna win that. Moving on. We're gonna move on. Oh, I guess that is the next one. We're gonna move on to a lot of you feel like would be the main event. I feel like we already know the ending. It's John Cena versus Kevin Owens, and in a singles match. No title is going to be on the line here. Is that correct? My sources are telling me singles match, no title on the line. Yes. It's going to be. I don't feel like this match is going to top what it was just 2 weeks ago at Elimination Chamber. They came out guns blazing in that match. Just everyone, bodies were broken. You don't learn to fall off a 20-foot ladder. Please don't do this at home. That was all those warnings put into that match. Kevin Owens is going to lose this one. He's going to take the fall. John Cena is going to ride that one out, and they're going to stretch it to SummerSlam. And I feel like that, because SummerSlam is really like all right, big pay-per-view. It's like SummerSlam, something else, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. My mind's escaping me on the number of pay-per-views right now. But they're going to do that because that's
44,
like...
but, you know.
Yeah.
Normally there's 12.
So that's like the first large one after WrestleMania. So they're going to do a grand match for Cena Owens. I feel like that's going to take a lot of explanation for another time, but right now we're on Money in the Bank. So John Cena's going to win. It's going to be an impressive match. Owens is going to give it his all. I'm going to say Cena's going to win. I feel like for a count out. I feel like Owens is going to see he's in trouble and he's going to walk away. He's going to walk away from the ring. He's going to take his championship, just kind of stare him down walking up the ramp. Take that count out.
Interesting take. I like that. It's going to be really hard to live up to their first match at Elimination Chamber. But I think if two guys can do it, it'll be Kevin Owens and John Cena. Both are really great at what they do in the ring, no matter what your opinions are on either of the guys. I'm going to use R-Truth logic on this one because all logic says that John Cena should win the next match. But I'm saying Kevin Owens takes Cena down once again and truly makes a statement. We'll mention these guys a little bit later in the show, but we were listening to our good friends at RTM Wrestling. Follow them on Twitter at RTM Wrestling. And they did some research and found that in the past 10 years, John Cena has exactly 10 clean losses. Just straight up clean pinfall. Obviously not submissions. John Cena doesn't give up. It's on his t-shirts if you haven't bought one yet. And one of them is to Kevin Owens, and that's a big honor for an up-and-coming guy. But to me, I think it becomes 11 now. I think this has the potential to be match of the night. I don't think it will be match of the night. We'll get to that one later. And if you're doing the math, there's really a 50-50 shot if you're a betting kind of person and want to bet on a show, people who have like 3 fans. But whatever, that's your prerogative. Anyway, so Owens, Cena. I wonder if Kevin Owens has any more moves in his repertoire that he hasn't shown on WWE TV yet that he might pull out of the show, or if we've seen them all already. But it should be a great match either way. So our next match is the Money in the Bank ladder match. And Matt, I'm probably going to forget some guys, so please help me if I forget. This match will include Neville, Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, Kane, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton. Is that correct? 7 guys?
That's correct.
Go me. And so, we have our first fan question of this episode from Michael Farmer, our very best live Locker Talk fan. And Michael Farmer wants to know, what would we think about Kane winning Money in the Bank? I would be shocked, but at this point I wouldn't be that shocked, WWE has kind of thrown a few surprises in our way this year. And so really there's a lot of different things that could happen that involve Kane winning this. I don't see it happening. There are still a lot of people who can't stand Kane. And rightfully so on some levels, but Kane is obviously going to be in the match to try to stop anybody else from getting the Money in the Bank and potentially beating Seth Rollins and taking the title away from the Authority. Blah blah blah. We all watch wrestling. If you don't watch wrestling, why the hell are you watching this show, Andy Husted? So really, we haven't given Andy a shout out in a long time. I figured it's about time we did that again. But anyways, for me, I'm just gonna go with I've done a few surprises with R-Truth and with Kevin Owens on this, so I'm gonna go with the obvious choice here. I'm gonna pick Roman Reigns to win the Money in the Bank. I feel like the Money in the Bank is a good thing for heels to have. It seems to work better. But we really haven't seen it a whole lot with a good guy, or maybe they turn Roman Reigns heel. Maybe he cashes it later in the show. I don't know, but I feel like Roman Reigns is going to win Money in the Bank. I feel like he might. If he does, he'll hold on to it for a little amount of time. I'm not going to say how long, but next March, April, some pay-per-view that's kind of big in Texas around that time. Just a thought. But, Roman Reigns is my official pick Although, I'm really excited to see Neville do a red arrow off the ladder. I'm really excited for Dolph Ziggler to hopefully not get a concussion. What if Kofi Kingston wins it? Wouldn't that be so awesome? I mean, it's not going to happen, but how cool would it be if Kofi Kingston won?
Yeah, it would. Well, if he puts positive thoughts out there, the positive reactions will come back to him.
Power of positivity.
Honestly, exactly. Honestly, I could see anyone winning this match. Literally anyone.
Anyone.
As for the King question goes,
Kane.
anyone. I could literally see. I could see Sheamus walking out with his title right now. He's a heel. They're obviously pushing him as a big heel. I could see the Authority going with that move. I could see the Authority going with Kofi Kingston. It would be a money play on their part because everyone loves the New Day. They're a heel team as well. Randy Orton could play that heel character. The only one I really couldn't see walking out with is Dolph Ziggler. Just because he doesn't win the big one.
That hurts.
I could see Neville doing it, but for some reason they don't want to propel Neville like they're going to propel Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
For some reason or another.
Although you have to say Dolph Ziggler is probably one of the best Money in the Bank holders of all time. Ziggler was great. His cash-in was probably one of the more memorable moments in all of wrestling in the past few years. So, yeah, sadly, my guy's not going to win it. I'm sad. I'm sorry to interrupt. Please go on.
Well, I mean, as far as, like, all-time ones go, I'm kind of jaded where, like, nothing comes close to Edge the first time.
The first one, yeah.
When really he took down, and then when he took it from Mr. Kennedy later on, it was great. I could see anyone winning it. It's a toss-up. I don't think Roman Reigns is gonna take it. I don't think Randy Orton's gonna take it either. I think it's a toss-up between Sheamus and Kane. I'm gonna throw that curveball with Sheamus in there. If Locker Talk as a unit is throwing out Kane as an obvious choice, which Kane is the obvious choice, well, with Roman Reigns, I'm going to say Sheamus. Sheamus walks away with the Money in the Bank. Other than that, probably going to be Kane. Moves us along to the match we've all been waiting for. My homeboy Dean Ambrose, the Lunatic Fringe, is going to take on Seth Rollins. Now, in my eyes, this is a classic Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, 2 Intercontinental title match.
Speaking of Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels matches, that was a ladder match, right?
It was. Oh, man.
Isn't our next show about ladder matches?
It is.
That's very interesting. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just thought I'd throw that out for everyone to know.
All right. Let me just send this. Okay. I'm sorry. I had to remind someone of something. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. This match is going to be amazing. We're going to see amazing feats of athleticism from Seth Rollins. We're going to see wrestling feats from Dean Ambrose that we haven't seen yet. This is the explosion. Seth Rollins is pushing the Authority away. This is the moment we as wrestling fans have been waiting for. We hated Seth Rollins because of the Authority. He pushed them away. He took on J&J Security. He lost to J&J Security. He's on the outs with Triple H. I mean, this is it. This is him by himself against Dean Ambrose. No help. This is what we've been waiting for, and it's going to be fantastic. I don't want to say it, but I do believe Seth Rollins is going to win, unfortunately. I can only hope Seth Rollins wins, Dean Ambrose leaves with the title. That's all I can hope for on that one. But other than that, Seth Rollins is going to win, and he's going to earn the respect of a lot of wrestling fans out there.
Yeah, I think Dean Ambrose has held the title quite well in the past few weeks, although through nefarious means.
Looks good on him.
It does look really good on him. And I've heard a few people that say that Dean Ambrose doesn't look like the kind of guy who looks like the champion, but they're stupid or blind, or we're stupid and blind. Either way. I think this was my thought of this was going to be the top match of the night. It should be the best match of the night. I feel like this is the match that we were supposed to get at Hell in the Cell last year, but with a finish that doesn't suck. Bray Wyatt, stay away, please. That's all I ask. These are two guys who can definitely fly off the top rope, which means they can definitely jump off ladders, and I feel like they can use the ladders in some pretty innovative ways. I agree. I think Seth Rollins wins this match. It looks like they might be building to a Seth Rollins Triple H match, potentially at SummerSlam. Whether or not that is for the title is yet to be seen. But I expect this match to steal the show. These guys have a lot of chemistry with each other. They know each other really well. And I don't think we've seen a match with them one-on-one that wasn't just one of the best matches on any given card. So I'm really, really excited for this match. I'm really excited for Seth Rollins' future. I'm really, really excited for Dean Ambrose's future, which is a lovely segue into our next question from our friends over at RTM Wrestling. That is at RTM Wrestling on Twitter. They have a YouTube show. It's slightly longer, slightly more British than ours. Go give them a watch.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I tried a British accent once and it wasn't very good. But neither here nor there. And the folks over there at RTM Wrestling, they want to know where we see Dean Ambrose going in the next few years. They want to know if Dean Ambrose is ever actually going to hold the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Yes. I feel like in a way this might have been kind of a test run to see how people take to Dean Ambrose winning the title for real. And I think he's passed with flying colors. He definitely gets one of the biggest pops every night. Dean Ambrose is extremely liked by the fans. And so, I think all three members of the Shield have very, very bright futures. I think we've all said that for a few years now. I think all of these guys have a very, very strong potential to be Hall of Famers. Ambrose, he's going to win the title. For you Ambrose fans out there, like you, Matt, don't worry. He will win the title for real. I believe in that. He's proven himself to be a top guy. So just wait a little longer. It'll come soon. Maybe not as soon as we would like, but it should be pretty soon. So Matt, I assume you're probably going to agree with me, but let's just get your thoughts on Dean Ambrose.
Well, here's the thing with Dean Ambrose. He puts positive thoughts out there, so the power of positivity works for him. Look at what he's done. He's a one-time Intercontinental Champion. He's a one-time World Heavyweight Champion. 2-time Rookie of the Year. 5-time Money in the Bank winner. I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about Brian Scalabrine for a second. Those of you non-basketball fans out there won't get that. But Dean Ambrose will hold the championship. Yeah. They said within a few years, so about 2 years, I think it'll take Dean Ambrose another couple months, if not a full year, to win it. Although there are whispers in the Twittersphere of a triple threat match, including 3 young pups of Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns in one WrestleMania for a possible title. Who knows? That could be a definitive moment about who walks out the champion that night. I know even then, I believe Dean Ambrose will be over, way more over than Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins will ever be at that point in time. It's going to take a while for Roman Reigns to take down the kind of cheers Dean Ambrose is getting. Seth Rollins is climbing that ladder. So is Reigns, for that fact. But Ambrose has that it factor that neither of those guys have yet. It's that power of positivity. We might be looking at the fourth member of A New Day. But so with that done and said, we are going to move on to our fan questions. And boy, howdy, we got them.
We got them.
We do indeed got them. We're going to start off with the question that kind of irritated me a little bit. With a certain someone taking advantage of me saying I would read all questions. And the first question is, what I didn't even favorite it.
Here, I got you. Don't worry. The first question is from our good friend Daniel Farmer, who, by the way, interrupted us during our meal the other night. And so if you ever meet celebrities out and about, don't interrupt their dinner. It's very rude. It's just not okay. Anywho, Farmer wants us to know, besides Captain America as the obvious choice, which superhero do you think would make the best superstar or diva? And Matt, I know you don't like this question, so I'm going to let you get yours out of the way first.
I'm going to answer as two different people. I'm going to answer as Vince McMahon and say the Hulk, obviously. And then answer as Matt. And, I'm going to say Ghost Rider. I feel like the Ghost Rider, that would be the best. He would be the most Undertaker-esque type person, and he would definitely be the new face of fear.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that one. My comic book knowledge is limited exclusively to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I'm gonna be a little biased here. Sorry, Batman and Superman. I just don't like you that much. But I think my number one pick would be Black Widow. One, she's extremely badass and would be the best diva by leagues over anyone. She could out wrestle even any of the men on the roster, and it'd be amazing. She's beautiful, she's smart, she's cunning, she's everything you want in the perfect diva that we're just absolutely not getting at all in our current diva roster. So I would say Black Widow. Obviously, Farmer said I can't use Captain America because obviously he's Captain America. I would say Thor, but I feel like he'd get disqualified for using the hammer all the time, and that's just, you can't have that. You can't have that bad of a record. He'd have a worse record than Barry Horowitz, but whatever. But yeah, those are our superheroes. Thanks, Farmer. Matt, do you want to take the next question from good old Farmer?
All right, we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna read this word for word, Daniel Farmer. He said Jim Ross often has said he dislikes matches being about setup spots and wants to return to brawling style. Well, obviously, brawling style is awesome, as we've seen with Stone Cold Steve Austin, those kind of guys. The setup spots, they're good matches, but when they don't hit them at the right time, you can tell it's bad. And I saw this. It was one GIF. It was a TNA GIF, actually. It was Scott Steiner against someone else, and Scott Steiner was supposed to get his head hit on the pole. The guy was supposed to take his head, hit it. Well, something on Scott Steiner's head was slippery, so his hands kind of went off. Scott Steiner didn't know what to do, so he headbutted the pole himself. We don't want that.
If I'm remembering right here, I believe it was Christian who's the other guy. I could be wrong. If somebody out there knows what we're talking about, please correct us. But I think it was Christian Cage.
It's a very infamous GIF of the wrestling community. But yeah, so the setup spots can really only be used for guys like Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, where they're just so good at it. They just need to give each other one look, and you're like, all right, I need to be in this corner in this second because he's going to kick me in the face, and I need to be ready for that. So it's only really good there. We don't have those types of guys other than Randy Orton and John Cena on the main roster. So the brawl style would be great to watch nowadays, especially with Sheamus and Bad News Barrett and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Those kind of guys would be amazing to watch in that style of match. So yeah, I feel like a 50-50 split between it would be great. You could have the brawling style as more of a mid-card type thing, and the technical finesse of the shots calling in a main event.
Excuse me. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot I could say on this question. I think first we need to look at who Jim Ross is. Jim Ross is one of those old timers who's been in this business for a very, very long time. He's probably one of the premier experts on the world of professional wrestling. Personally, I love JR. I know just about everybody loves JR, and I feel that if he thinks something about the wrestling business, it's probably pretty close to being right. But at the same time, Jim Ross grew up in a different era of wrestling where it was kind of it was a slower style. It was a lot more brawling, more technical kind of wrestling. It's transitioned more into these big spots because it takes more to entertain us fans. Because apparently we're not happy with what we're getting. And so I can definitely see this both ways. For the right guy, like you said, like a Sheamus or a Bad News Barrett, that's what they do. They brawl. They just beat the crap out of you, and they do it successfully. But with setting up spots, like you said, you have to do it right. You have to do it at the right time, and you have to make it look good. And there's a ton of guys who can do that really well. And so I think it's just all about finding that balance between the two. You can definitely do both of them in the same match. You can definitely do both of them with the same guy. I feel like what he was thinking here is that sometimes it takes a little bit too long to set up these spots, and then so you kind of lose that kind of wow it factor. And so yeah, I think if we just find that balance, obviously I feel like that's probably the answer to most questions in life. Just find the right balance, and it'll all work out for you. So yeah, Farmer, thanks for those questions. Those were actually, that was actually a good question. I'm impressed. Good job. 5. So, our next two questions comes from another one of our fans, Steven Sorrell. He is at Steven Sorrell on Twitter. He also runs a wrestling website. It's called letstalkwrestling.com. I believe it's called that. I could be wrong. Steven, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
I think it's called letstalkwwe.com.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the two. I wasn't sure. Just go check at Steven Sorrell on Twitter, and he has the link to the website. It's a really good website, and the article for that website is helped us with one of these questions. Excuse me. And so the first question that Mr. Sorrell has asked us is, would you think WWE would be more appealing if the wrestlers moved to a more modest ring attire? And if you go to his website, letstalkwwe.com, if that is the right one, I think you're right. He has a whole list of different opinions, and it's really great. I suggest you check it out. It really made me think about this because, in a way, we have moved to a more modest attire, especially with the divas. You're not seeing brawn painting matches anymore for obvious reasons. You can't really show kids that, except I watched that as a kid, and I guess I've turned out fine. It is hard because, a lot of people would give you that who don't like wrestling, and one of their first things is like, oh, it's just two guys who are in their underwear who touch each other a lot. Which technically they're right. But at the same time, wrestling and wrestlers is it's about them appearing larger than life. It's about showing off their just ripped bodies, who you could never hope to be like in any way, shape, or form. But at the same time, if they're not like that, you don't see that. For a good example, for people who are rather mean about people with weight issues, Kevin Owens, he doesn't have the typical wrestler's body, but he wears a tank top and he wears shorts and he gets the job done. But you have those guys like a Dolph Ziggler or a Randy Orton who wrestle in trunks to show off their very fit body. And to me, he has the poll on his Steven has the poll on his website, and the one I chose just to answer the poll because I like being nice and that kind of a thing is the fact that wearing the trunks, it has a lot to do with tradition. That's what they've done for years and years and years. Wrestlers always wear the trunks. And so that's just the way it is, If you don't like it, you obviously don't watch wrestling. But I'm the kind of person, I don't care what other people think. And so if they don't like wrestling, that's okay for them. But it's not going to upset me at all if they just say, oh, wrestling is a bunch of guys who wear their underwear and like to wrestle around while they wear body oil, which is wrong because WWE outlawed body oil a couple years ago. So, anyways, yeah, Matt, go ahead. What do you think about wrestling attire? That was kind of a long spiel.
Well, first of all, I would never ever be mean to an overweight person on the street. But wrestlers, baseball players, basketball players, football players, you bet your sweet ass want to make fun of them because they're paid to do something. Do it. Stay in shape. This is a really good question. This is an out-of-the-box question. This isn't your typical, who do you think is going to win the Cruiserweight Championship next year? I like the pants more. I like the modest gear more. And that all goes back to when I was a kid watching wrestling, watching the Hardy Boys wrestle, because I watched all these, different outfits, and then I watched these, two guys coming out with, these really ripped up shirts and then jeans. And I was like, that's really cool. That they're wearing the jeans and they looked awesome. And ever since then, guys like that or Bray Wyatt or John Cena or even the Rey Mysterio and Shawn Michaels leather pants, the stretchy pants. I feel like those are better. But like Koltyn said, you got guys like Dolph Ziggler and, Neville and Randy Orton who show off their bodies because we would never hope to, especially Neville. No one in the world would hope to have that type of body. No matter what happens, there'll never be another Neville. But then you got guys like Dean Ambrose who's getting the job done. And you'll see, I've seen people as well recently who have walked in on me watching wrestling, or I'd flip it to wrestling or whatever, and Dean Ambrose will come out, and they're so used to seeing people in the tights and everything. Dean Ambrose will come out and they're like, wow, why is he wrestling in jeans? So it is in other people's minds as well, wrestling should be this way, and you can't wrestle in jeans, and I honestly feel it depends on the wrestler's persona and gimmick. If they can pull it off in their gimmick and their persona, do it. Roman Reigns wouldn't look the same if he was in trunks. He looks stronger now than he would look in the traditional trunks. Same thing with Brock Lesnar. If he was wearing jeans, I'd be like, well, it's just another weird person off the street. But since he's wearing that, wrestling UFC trunks, he looks badass. He looks like someone you wouldn't want to mess with. So I feel it all depends on the persona. I don't think it would really deal with appealing whether or not this or that happened. I feel if everyone was in those tighty whities like Randy Orton wears, then wrestling would lose its appeal to a lot of people out there, and it'd be a little weird. But I guess we'll move on to our next question here.
Yeah, good question. Thank you.
It was really good. This next one's a really good question, too. Same person. Steven said, maybe you can discuss a WWE offseason. It is extremely unlikely, but maybe share some alternative ideas. Now, I have an idea on this one. It's a good one. Rare good thought by me. All right. Two things. I think a legitimate offseason would make WWE even more popular than it already is, because we see that with sports right now. Baseball is a long sport. It's losing fans because of it's a long season and it's a long game. Basketball and football, however, especially with football, it just gains momentum because there's so many months where we don't have it, and it's only that once a week thing when it is the season that people are like, I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. When it's the off season, that's all they can talk about. It's like, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. However, WWE is not geared with free agents and trades, so it would hurt them to have just no wrestling on the same thought. However, with this idea, it could help. After WrestleMania, you could have a month of all like the main roster guys gone, and that month could be entitled The Best of the Rest, where all these other guys like Stardust, R-Truth, they will headline Raws. You still have the Raw every single week in SmackDown, but it would be the best of the rest. So you'd have NXT guys come up, and then you'd have the guys and people who appear on WWE Superstar and Saturday Night Main Event and that kind of stuff. The people who don't usually get Raw spots. Like, in the main event, you'd see, like, I don't know, maybe Big Cass versus Zack Ryder. You don't know. Like, that's what would happen. We would have the best of the rest. And then after that, all the wrestlers are, all right, our bodies are, like, fully healthy. We're rested again. We had family time. Let's go do this. Let's start this year out great. And I feel like that would help all their bodies. That would help them mentally to have that month off a year. And it would really boost the spirits of the guys who are Vince is taking a shat all over during the year. So
yeah, I feel like wrestlers definitely need an off season, just for their, for health purposes. Like Steven said, it's not going to happen. I don't think it should even happen. It just seems such a foreign idea to me that there being a time where there's not wrestling. Actually, I remember one of my first memories of wrestling. I asked my dad if there was an off season of wrestling because I was tired of him watching wrestling every Monday night, and I wanted to know when it was going to be over. But yeah, you can definitely tell around WrestleMania time, right after WrestleMania time, a lot of these guys just seem just a step off, just a little bit slower than they normally are, and so you can tell they're worn out from wrestling all the time and doing all the press tours and all the media stuff that's involved with WrestleMania. And so for their sake, I think a break would be great. However, in a product standpoint, once again, this is a business, and so that would just be losing money in those times where there is no wrestling. And so while it would be nice for the wrestlers' sake, I don't think it should happen. I feel unlike with sports, I feel like people might just forget about wrestling for a while and then not care as much when it picks up. That could just be my thoughts, but wrestling is it's obviously definitely a very popular entertainment form, but it's not. I don't feel like it's on the same level as football, basketball, baseball. No matter what, they will tell you every week on Raw that the Twitter ratings were so much better. Because as we know, everybody tweets about wrestling. I mean, come on. But yeah, that's really my thoughts. I mean, I feel like it could be really beneficial because a lot of those guys look really messed up and tired. But that's the true mark of an athlete is, and especially in wrestling, is whenever you're hurt, you keep going. That doesn't happen in other sports. In baseball, you get put on the 15-day DL because you have a blister on your thumb. God forbid you can't pitch with a blister on your catching hand. It's ridiculous. But wrestling. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, if you want to see how beneficial a little bit of time off would be, I believe it's look at the events that happen. I believe it's June 27th, 2007. in the wrestling world on that day. And then you will see why it is so beneficiary for wrestlers to have a little bit of time off for mental health.
We're not going to go there. Anyway.
That's why I just mentioned dates.
Anyway.
They can do the searching.
We do not condone any of those actions. I assume you guys know what we're talking about at this point. If not, Google it or don't. We don't care that much. Anyways, we would like to thank everyone for sending in questions. This is the most questions we've ever had on an episode, and it only took us 18 episodes to do it. So thank you to Farmer. Thank you to Older Farmer. Thank you to RTM Wrestling. Thank you, Steven Cyril, at letstalkwwe.com. I got it right this time. And so, yeah, I think that's the end of our main body of the show. Matt, I know you have some announcements. Some exciting stuff is coming up, so why don't you let the people know about it?
I do have some announcements. Well, as you know, and if you don't, I don't know where you've been this whole show, but Money in the Bank is this Sunday night, so that's fun. That's an announcement that I can say. Yeah. Another announcement is there's been talks of a Locker Talk reaction show happening directly after Money in the Bank. And also we've been brainstorming some really cool ideas for Locker Talk, like themed Locker Talk, like fishing with Locker Talk, but we'd be talking about wrestling, obviously. Some more live lunch with Locker Talks because that first one went over so great. It was a lot of fun to shoot. It was probably my favorite one to shoot, honestly. There was a lot of information in that one go on.
I wish we could have eaten more during the show because I was really hungry and I didn't want to have
It was a great sandwich.
It was a great sandwich. Subway. Check out your
really,
local Subway.
Really good. And fun fact, I just got a new job and it is directly next door to a Subway. I walk 4 steps and I'm inside Subway.
Congratulations on getting the job.
Really good. Thank you. And so, and next week, you all will look forward to a great show we have planned for you. We've been doing research, it feels like for weeks, about who should be the face of the company, who's a better wrestler, Randy Orton or John Cena. You'll listen to us bicker about that. Also, ladder matches. Forgotten ladder matches and the best ladder matches you've never seen. Colt, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I do, and I'm not really excited about this one. But as you all know, the wrestling world has lost a legend. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, has unfortunately passed away, and I know we're all affected by this. To me, Dusty Rhodes is not just one of the all-time great wrestlers. He's not just one of the all-time great talkers. But the fact that Dusty Rhodes stuck around in the business and that he helped mentor the new up-and-coming superstars to take over from him is really a testament to the man. And if you guys will allow, I would like to pay homage to the great Dusty Rhodes in one of arguably the all-time greatest promos of all time. If you will allow me, I will give you a little bit of Hard Times. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Matt, would you mind interviewing me? Just ask me what my thoughts are about my match with Ric Flair. Just give me an intro. I need something to start from.
All right. Am I gonna call you Dusty in this?
Whatever you want. Just go for it.
All right. I'm here with Dusty Rhodes here, the American Dream. Hard fought match with Ric Flair. Dusty, what are your thoughts on that match with Ric Flair you just had?
Well, with that weight, I got what I wanted. Ric Flair, the world's heavyweight champion. I don't say a whole lot more about the way I feel about Ric Flair. No honor, no respect. There is no honor amongst thieves in the first place. He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family. You don't know what hard times are, Daddy. Hard times are when the textile workers around this country are out of work. They got 4 or 5 kids and can't pay their wages, can't buy the food. Hard times are when the auto workers are out of work and they tell them to go home. And hard times are when a man has worked a job for 30 years, 30 years, and they give him a watch, kick him in the butt, and say, hey, a computer just took your place, Daddy. That's hard times. That's hard times. And Ric Flair, you put hard times on this country by taking Dusty Rhodes out. That's hard times. And we all had hard times together, and I admit, I don't look like the athlete of the day supposed to look. My belly's just a little big, and my honey's a little big. But, brother, I am bad. And they know I'm bad. There were two bad people. One was John Wayne, and he's dead, brother. And the other is right here. Thank you. Thank you.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Spot on.
I tried my
Spot
best.
on.
And I hope I've done a little bit of justice to the great Dusty Rhodes. But I think that's all we have for this episode. Thank you for joining us on episode 18 of Locker Talk. Hopefully we have many more shows to come. And with that, we come to our hashtag of the weekend, so I feel is only appropriate for hashtag American Dream.
So, if you like the video, hit like, comment down there, hit subscribe because we need the subscribers. Follow us on Twitter at wwelockertalk. It's a great Twitter site. We occasionally have funny stuff. Most of it's not. You won't laugh. But sometimes you will. So tweet us, email us. We don't check it, though. Comment at us. Contact us at our personal numbers if you have it, Daniel Farmer. Snail mail us because we love that. Other than that, I guess there's just one thing left to do. Nature Boy! Woo-hoo!